Time for Tuesday Night Hoops, and that means the W as well. Adelaide, Sydney, our match for broadcast tonight from the SA State Basketball Centre, one that means a lot for both of these teams as they try to make a late playoffs pushes. My name's Joel Peterson. Great to have you with us alongside Laurie Chiswick, a WNBL championship winning coach and a WNBL champion as a player as well in Rachel Jarry. And these games at this part of the season, Laura, they all mean a lot.
Well, they certainly do. And if we look at the games just over the round, we know that there were some wins, some losses, a postponed game, but the ladder didn't change. But every win is just crucial towards this last bit of the season, Rach.
Yeah, absolutely. It's coming down to crunch time, as we'd say, and every game means so much, and we've got some great ones coming up, starting with tonight.
A little bit of pressure on you two tonight because this time last week, Damon Lowry sat on this panel and he delivered an impassioned plea to the Geelong Venom. Let's hear what he had to say.
I'm expecting a violent response after a performance like that. And I'm intrigued to see how a team bounces back after something like that. The teams at the top of the ladder, the Perps, the Bendigos, I know what I'm going to get from them. I want to see the heart and ticker. I get so motivated by the underdog. Nobody thinks they can win this game but their immediate family. Can they pull off the upset of the season? What would you give? Like Mel Gibson and Braveheart saying, what would you give for one chance? You know what I mean? They got a chance right now to do something really special. I want to see where their heart is at.
I'm not sure whether Beck was ready to break down with laughter or run through a brick wall after all of that, but the Geelong Venom certainly were ready to run through a brick wall because they came out and got the better of the Townsville Fire in Townsville, which is a very tough task, as we know. A 17-point win, Geelong's biggest win of the season, and it felt like maybe things were starting to turn in their direction. 3 days later, they face up against Townsville on Friday, and unfortunately that one doesn't go their way. Townsville got back to some of their best basketball with a 91-67 win. So swings and roundabouts for Geelong, as has been the way in this season, and Townsville was a little bit too good for them. So Damon's little burst only lasted for a certain amount of time. Everything has a lifespan here in this life. But Laurie, I'm wondering whether you've got anything similarly bold for me tonight.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I'm not sure that there's anything more bolder than that pink shirt that Damon was wearing last week. Very impressive. I think I'm expecting a close game this evening. I don't think there's a favourite, to be honest. I think we're just going to see a really hard-fought battle. Neither team wants to finish bottom of the ladder, and so they will be really looking to try and get in the W column. Yeah,
a mixed weekend for Geelong, of course. Jazz Shelley didn't mince her words after the loss to Townsville. Let's hear what she had to say.
We're pretty disappointed in the loss because we felt like we really turned a corner after the previous game. We kind of had the same mindset going in, which is why I think this one does hurt, because we felt like we could perform again and we could turn the corner and keep things rolling, but unfortunately things didn't go our way. I think there's still a possibility, and if everyone's bought in, we can still turn this thing around, and it's not the end for us.
So round 13 so far, of course, that win for Townsville in the opener against Geelong. The Bendigo Southside game postponed, so that'll be rescheduled very soon. Sydney got a win, Perth got another win, and then Townsville over Southside Melbourne Flyers to close this part of the round. We end it with Adelaide and Sydney tonight. But one game that we did want to highlight, Rach, was that Southside Townsville performance, because there was a few positives to come out of that if you're the Southside Melbourne Flyers.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought they were really impressive, particularly in that second half. They came out from halftime and really had a focus of going inside, you know, with dribble penetration, with pass penetration, and yeah, I was excited to see that for them. Yeah,
we'll talk about that a little bit more very shortly. Let's get to the big takeaways of the round, though, and we'll start with you here, Rach.
Yeah, well, my key takeaway is no Nicholson and no worries. I have been so impressed with the Sydney Flames the last few weeks. They look like a completely different team. The way they are moving the ball, we've got so many different players stepping up. Jess McDowell-White and Maddie Norris had great games on the weekend, but they've just been such a joy to watch.
They've been all kinds of fun. And Jess McDowell-White, I mean, Renee Garlup's spoken about her as being, you know, someone special who's just got so much poise and a calming influence on this team. Coming in mid-season, we've spoken about it a lot. Not easy to do what she's doing.
No, absolutely not. And she's doing it with poise and confidence and just been super impressive. And you know, it comes down, obviously, a lot to Renee Garlup, but just the way they've all bought in, it's been really great.
Laurie, what about for you?
Well, mine is Maley Magic double time. I did a deep dive into her stats in the last 8 games, so really beginning of December. She has had a double-double 7 out of those 8 games, averaging 17 points, 16 rebounds, and shooting at a phenomenal rate. To me, that has to have her figure in the MVP conversation. She's exceptionally high work rate, we know her relentlessness on the boards. She's shooting, her shooting has improved. And to me, she is one of the most consistent players in the competition right now. She is playing great basketball.
Yeah, consistent and consistently at a really high level as well. My takeaway for the round was not necessarily a surprise. We know how good Courtney Woods is, but Townsville's resurgence in their last couple of games just highlights how important she is to this team. For mine, she is their most important player. She is the glue for this team. She's the connector. She moves off the ball. She makes the right plays at both ends of the court. But particularly to the offensive machine that Townsville can be, Rach, she is such an important presence just to making sure everyone's in the right place.
Absolutely, and you say most important to her team, she's probably the most important player in the league. Just the way she comes off on balls and makes decisions, she's just made such a difference to them just in these last couple of games, and yeah, it's great to see her back.
So they got out wide against Southside in the last game that we've seen so far, on Sunday in the early game at the cage out there in the State Netball and Hockey Centre, where they returned to after their championship glory a couple of years ago. But Southside closed them back. What were your takeaways out of that game, Rach?
Yeah, well, I mentioned, their dribble penetration and their pass penetration inside the key in that second half, and they really forced the issue and created some matchup problems for Townsville and exposed them inside, particularly when they tried to go into that zone. And, Maddie Rocci is just playing such great basketball and leading that team. There's still some things that they need to work on. I think, foul discipline for them is one thing, and being able to, continue to work on that for a full 40 minutes, which is something that Coach Christy Harrower spoke about after the game.
When we went to man-to-man more in the second half, we were a lot more physical, and we're a team where if we can get stops, we can get out and run, get some flow into the game and not get so much bogged down in the half court. And they shoot 21 and 25 from the foul line, and I think at half-time we didn't even have a foul shot. So, look, we're right there. It's just a matter of playing 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's a point well made, both by Rachel Jarry and Christy Harrower, who both done at a very high level, mind you, and the Southside Flyers, they feel like they're really building into something. Let's take a look at our Bunnings Warehouse ladder, because as we sit right here at the end of round 13, you've got the Bendigo Spirit out on top, the Townsville Fire second, Perth a third at the moment, Southside and Canberra both on 7 wins, and then Sydney, who have hit some form, are just sort of snapping at their heels as well. And this brings us to what is coming up, which we know, of course, Hoops Fest is the next round 14 here in the WNBL, and there are some really consequential games, particularly at the top of the ladder. So as we take a look toward that Hoops Fest schedule, Perth plays Bendigo and plays Townsville over the next couple of days. If Perth win both of those games, no matter what happens in Townsville's other game against Canberra, they will be on top of the ladder after the next round. So the stakes are really, really high.
Well, and the fact that Hoop Fest is in Perth, and so really virtually it's 2 home games for Perth. They will be loving having their fans behind them, but it's such a great entertainment. It's such a great weekend, but some crucial games, as you said, that are going to really shape probably the top 3 and the position where they're finishing in, and we know that you want to finish in the top spot if you can.
So big weekend for Perth, of course, big weekend for Townsville with a couple of games, big weekend for Adelaide and Canberra as well, Rach, who are Adelaide trying to force their way back in to get some momentum late in this season. Canberra are right in the hunt here. They've got 2 games in Perth this weekend. If they can sort of cause a couple of upsets, then all of a sudden they're in the box seat for that 4th spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it just starts, I think they just have to set little goals for themselves. I think the Caps in particular have been had a very roller coaster season, both with injuries and the way that they've been playing. So they just need to take it 1 possession, 1 quarter at a time, and just focus on that way and trying to improve rather than looking at the big picture. Adelaide as well, they've still got Southside 3 times, which is going to be an interesting finish to the season. And I think for me, that probably puts Southside in the box seat for that 4th position.
Yeah, it's a fascinating little schedule for Adelaide. They've got Southside in a neutral venue, home and away. So they'll see them everywhere. The weather forecast for Perth this week looks great. Temperatures around 28, 29. So I don't know, they might have to find some time for basketball in between going to the beautiful beaches over there in Perth, Laurie, because it's going to be a magnificent week out in West.
Well, for any of the players that haven't had that opportunity, some of the imports or whatever, it's a wonderful, wonderful place to be holding Hoops Fest, and it's just such a celebration of basketball at all different levels.
Yeah, indeed it is. It is so much fun, and there's plenty to celebrate. We've had great moments throughout the course of the season. A couple of particularly good buzzer beaters of late as well. Of course, Nadia Potch's effort needs no introduction a little while ago. This was to win the game against Perth, if you don't mind. But if you thought that was the only good buzzer beater so far this year, what about the heave from Jazz Shelley? It's pretty special stuff from both of them. But what do Laurie and Rach think was the better one? We'll come back on the other side and get their verdicts. We went to the break asking the big question, what's the best buzzer beater? Jazz Shelley from beyond half court off balance, or the Nadia Potch runner to win the game for Canberra against Perth a little while ago? Rachel Jarry and Laurie Chiswick with their expert opinions. I'm going to go to you here first, Laurie. Which is the better buzzer beater?
Well, we've done a lot of analysis on this. We've slowed them down, we've punched the numbers, we've taken some measurements. I have to say, the Jazz Shelley one was behind the center line, and it was a heave. I mean, it was a heave. So I'm really going to go with Potch, because I think hers was a little bit more of a shot, and it was to win the game as the red light went on around the box. So I'm going with Potch.
Hey, can you make a case for Jazz Shelley, Rach, or are you in Potch territory as well?
No, yeah, sorry. I'm in Potch territory. I was sitting in this seat when she shot that, and I've still got goosebumps. I just think, you know, when you hit a game-winning buzzer beater, that does not happen for every player. That's something she'll tell her grandchildren about one day.
How were you sitting? I have no idea how you were sitting. I was watching that in a green room in Brisbane, about to call a game up there, and I wasn't sitting.
No,
I just about jumped through the wall.
by the time it went in, don't worry.
It was an incredible moment and so much fun. And then I guess it gets back to a conversation of the degree of difficulty. Jazz Shelley does that all the time. She makes those off-balance shots look very, very easy. Nards Potch just glides into the runner, made it look all very elegant, like she absolutely drew it up. But the weight of the winning shot in terms of its importance to how impressed you are with it. How much does the situation factor into something like that, Laurie?
Oh well, I think it's absolutely crucial. It was a a game that they really wanted to win. They were undermanned. They were without Sarah Blixovs and without Jade Melbourne. So just the magnitude of that shot, that win on the buzzer. Any buzzer beater is great, but to win the game, a close game, that's to me the one.
Yep, you'll go a long way to see better than what Nards Poch produced. That is for sure. That's going to be a highlight replayed throughout the course of this season. It's this time that we, on this show every week here on the W, take a look at our rolling team of the year. We assess it every week. We generally give it to the person who sits in the middle of the desk here, and they take it away. However, Laurie had a little bit of an idea this week. It's going to be a team of the week, a team of the year with a twist. So I'm going to get you to explain what you've done with this, Laurie Chiswick.
All right. Well, I really like our rolling team of the year, and different players slip into it. But I was looking at it and thinking, I'm going to go a team of the year, but I'm going to have some restrictions on it. So no injured players, nobody that's pregnant, and I'm going to start with you have to be over 30. All right, so we're going to highlight some of our players that have experience behind them, large numbers of games. So, and I've also tried to go positionally as well. So Allie Wilson has had a great season so far. She's so instrumental. Alex Chibatoni, Talbot, we talk about her all the time in that 3 spot. And then Kelsey Griffin and Kayla George, I think they've been mentioned in the rolling team of the week. So, and Alex Chibatoni. So I think that's, you look at those players and you go, wow, they are legends of our competition.
It's and some of them producing career best seasons as well. Like Alex Chibatoni's playing fantastic basketball. Kayla George's numbers are off the charts. What do you think about the concept here, Rach?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting.
Very diplomatic.
Wow, wow, Rachel.
No, I love it. Let's reward our. But looking at that 5, they could all you could make a case for all of them for just being in, just the total team of the year so far. So they've all been in it at some stage, I think. And like you said, they're all playing magnificently and just, aging like fine wine, as we should say.
Well, and the other thing I like about them is that, numerous times when players have been interviewed, they talk about these players and how they're mentoring them and helping them. You think about the young guns from Bendigo, Rees and Pollard, and they've continually talked about Kelsey Griffin and Mariana Tolo and how they've learned from them and how they've helped them in that. And I just think that's so important in our competition to have these players that are there as role models and to not only just be role models, but to be killing it out there at this stage of their career and being able to keep playing and doing what they do. I'm always just so impressed with these. And as you said, Alex Chibatoni having a career best season. How good is that?
So that's the over 30 part of it. So then how are we fitting everyone else in? I'm told you've got another team here. What else have you done?
Well, I've also then looked at the younger side of things. So we've got the below 25, so you have to be younger than 25. I apologize for that middle-age group. We just couldn't fit that in, but I wanted to look at our young and up-and-comers and look at this lineup. Dallage Lockridge, who we are going to see featuring tonight, Abby Ellis, Borlase, who is featured in every team so far in the rolling team, Fowler's there, and Sine Fagan. Abby Ellis, I just have to say, she turns 25 in 9 days. So if we were to do this 2 weeks later, she wouldn't be in the team. But I have to give a special mention to McConnell. She would slide into that spot that is left by Ellis if it was done 2 weeks later. But again, what a great group of young players coming into this competition, having an impact. They're the future of the league. They're the future of Australian basketball. And so I really enjoyed doing that, going through and having a look at our young up-and-comers and our mentors. And I hope I haven't missed anybody. I was trying to go through all the ages, and it surprised me sort of some of the ages that missed out.
We might have to get Rach to do the 25 to 30s next time, I think, and just try and build some equity into this thing. So that's very fine work from Laurie Chiswick. The other thing we do on this show every week is take a look at our personality of the year and some of the great things happening on socials around the place. Tina Rakuso is no stranger to having and showing personality, and she was in fine form after a recent win and being provided with the MVP for the Caps, and just busted out a little move.
She's got some rhythm, doesn't she?
Absolutely, she does. It is good fun any time that Tina's involved, and she's doing great things this season, and a big part of why Canberra are going pretty well at this stage of the campaign and find themselves very much in the hunt for that Final Four. Adelaide Lightning playing tonight. Of course, we love finding out things we don't know about our players, and let's find out a little bit of stuff about them.
What is a random fact about yourself?
Random fact, my favourite movie is Hunt for the Wilder People.
A random fact. Okay, my favourite colour is pink, but I hate to accept that and admit that.
What is a random fact about yourself?
I think I have a 25-letter middle name.
Want to tell us?
Yeah, Tuito Whamaingavalu.
That's sick. That's so cool.
Thank you.
So very good stuff indeed for our personality of the year as always. So plenty of good stuff. The best one though, we saw the Nards Posh buzzer beater. My eyes could not leave this. Watch the giraffe in the background. Cappy the giraffe. No one more excited than Cappy for the Nards Posh buzzer beater. Doesn't even get involved in the celebrations, just ran straight past. That's the best thing you'll see this year. It is not going to be beaten for our personality of the year. Dallas Lockridge on the other side.
Too long, Winnie.
With Swain straight away, he from the corner. Nicholson lost Brazzle behind the back and drains it with a midi. Dancing all alone. Outstretched arm, that is a tough finish from Dallas. Swain hangs and finishes. Inside the painted area, Talbot. Fagan stepping down in transition. Talbot, 2 seconds, all the way down the floor, and Fagan up and in time.
So that was last time these two teams met, Adelaide and Sydney. Adelaide's two biggest wins this season have come against their opponents tonight. So looking forward to what's in store for us this evening. Joel Peterson, Laurie Chiswick and Rachel Jarry with you. Great to have the ability to go inside the Adelaide camp pre-game and catch up with one of their stars in their point guard, Dallas Lockridge, who's been good enough to join us on the show. Dallas, a tough part of your schedule off the last couple of weeks. The wins haven't been there for you. How's the feeling in the group coming into this one?
Yeah, for sure. Our schedule's been a bit hectic at the moment. You know, I think we're getting in every day and we're trying to put in the work. So I think we're more just trying to trust the process, and obviously tonight's a must-win for us. So yeah, we're excited to get into it.
Dallas, it's Laurie Chiswick here. There are a lot of good point guards in this competition this year. Rocci, Ellis, McConnell, Wilson, and of course yourself. Who have you found the most challenging to match up against?
I think that's a tough question, to be honest. I think it's a lot of fun going out each week and playing against all the point guards. They're obviously all very highly skilled. So I think it's just been fun each week playing against the different guards, and they're all great players, and I just love the challenge each week.
Well, you've been exceptional this season, really a breakout season. Do you have some specific goals that you have for the rest of 2026 and beyond?
I think, honestly, just making sure I'm putting in the work so that I can come out game by game and stay focused. I think, obviously, I have like goals for the future, but I think just making sure I'm putting in the work and playing confident game by game, especially to give what I can to this team.
And Dallas, just on the back of that, is there anything specifically that you're looking to add to your game or improve on?
I think, obviously, I've said this a lot, but my leadership, I think, taking this bigger opportunity and this bigger role here at Adelaide, I've kind of tried to lean into my leadership side, and I've also been lucky enough to play with Talbs, who's an amazing leader. So just being beside her, trying to lead the group and add leadership into my game, I think has been a big point for me.
Well, speaking of leadership, it's been a little bit of a tumultuous year with your coaches. You've had Aja come in halfway through. Just tell us what your relationship with her is like and what's she like as a coach?
Yeah, it's been great. Aja's awesome. I mean, she's a gym junkie, so she's like me. So I, pull her into the gym a lot, and we're always working out. She's always happy to come in and help out. But I think she's been great for us and our group. And I think, we're trying to trust the process. We come in day by day and we work really hard. And I think, it'll start showing, and hopefully we can finish off the season strong.
Now, Dallas, you are a true Victorian, so I just want to know, have you actually tried the South Australian pie floater? And if you have, what has that experience been like?
No, I actually haven't, to be honest. I think the girls here, we literally don't do that much other than go to the beach, so no, but I need to try that.
Fruit shocks, Dallas, are you walking around saying chance, dance, trance, that type of thing? Like, have you taken on any South Australianisms?
No, I haven't, but all the girls are always bullying me about how strong they think my accent is, and I'm like, no, you guys say it weird, it's not me, you're the problem.
A lot of people from country Victoria say it's just like another small town mixed with a big city. Now, Laurie had you in the team of her under-25 team of your year so far, a little bit earlier on tonight. You had 25 points last time out. Can you give us a little bit of something to keep bolstering your case in that demand tonight?
Yeah, honestly, I think I'm just coming out and trying to do what I can for the team. I'm trying to attack and be aggressive when I need to, and then also facilitate the ball. So I think I'll try and continue that tonight.
You're doing a mighty good job of it, Dallas. We really appreciate your time pre-game, and all the best for tonight and the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
Dallas Lockridge there joining us pre-game. Great to go inside the Adelaide camp. Of course, they take on Sydney tonight, who they've beaten twice this year. Keys to the game time. Rach, what have you got?
Yeah, well, for me, and we've talked about this a lot with Adelaide, but it's rebounding. They are the worst rebounding team in the league, and Sydney are the best offensive rebounding team in the league. So without Unique Thompson in, I think it's a really good opportunity for Adelaide to try and exploit that and get on top in the rebounds. Laurie,
what about for you, keys to the game-wise?
Well, mine are pretty simple, and they're for both teams, straight up. Foul discipline and possession. Both teams are the worst in the competition in that foul discipline, so it changes rotations, it changes who your matchups are. So be disciplined. And the second one, possession, make sure that you take care of the ball so you have every opportunity to shoot it.
Going to be so critical factors tonight. So that leads us to who wins and why. I'm going to start with you, Laurie. Who do you think gets the W tonight on Tuesday Night Hoops?
Well, I'm going to have to go with Sydney, just given the fact that they won their last game. I feel like they've been playing well, actually, their last 3 games. They've got a lot of confidence. They're out a few players, as we've learned from the last few games, but I like the way they're playing right now.
Rach?
Well, I'm going to go against you, Laurie. I think, Sydney have been winning, but I think Adelaide at home, they might be able to finally get something together, get their stars all playing well, and hopefully give their home fans a show.
Well, this is great news for me. I don't have to offer a tip. I can just sit back and watch these two go head-to-head throughout the course of the evening. It's going to be good fun. Adelaide and Sydney, it is all coming up next.
Dancing all alone. Outstretched arm, that is a tough finish from Dallas. But now they'll get a chance forward with Brazzle and connect. Inside the painted area, Talbot, 2 seconds, all the way down the floor, and Fagan up and in time. Nicholson lost Brazzle behind the back and drains it with a midi. Hands for Swain, come out with some confidence. Another great look. Swain hangs and finishes. Clean D once more and creates space. Thompson staying with the play.
A couple of teams who still harbour postseason ambitions clash in Adelaide tonight as the Adelaide Lightning host the Sydney Flames. The Flames have won 3 of their last 4. Adelaide on a losing streak, but Aja Paramama was strong recently, saying do not count us out. As our players check in thanks to Minor Hotels. Joel Peterson with you alongside Rachel Jarry and Laurie Chiswick for Tuesday night hoops at the SA State Basketball Centre. And Rach, they've met a couple of times this year. Adelaide have won both, but Sydney brings some really good form into this.
Yeah, they do. They've, got the momentum at the moment, and they've just looked like such a different team the last few games. They're moving the ball really well. They're just playing as a team, playing aggressively, and it's been great to watch.
You can't underestimate wins late in the season, especially with both of these teams still a mathematical chance for finals.
Well, I think any time that you have a chance, whether it's slim or not, whether it's mathematical or not, you still go in wanting to win, hoping to win, doing your best, because you just never know what happens in this crazy season of the WNBL.
Yeah, as Aja Paramama said the other night, we're still a chance until we're mathematically not a chance, and they still remain a chance, that is for sure. The Adelaide Lightning. Let's head inside their camp. Laura Hodges caught up with Taylor Brazzle a little while ago.
Well, Tay, thanks for being with us today. The last win that you had was against Sydney. Are you feeling confident going into this one?
Yeah, definitely. I think we take a lot of confidence from our last win against Sydney and try and tap into, what we did that game and do it even better this game and hopefully get that win.
And when you're looking to take your shot and they start to go down, you look so confident. How are you feeling out there in each game? I know it's tough when you haven't had a win, but what do you want to do tonight?
Yeah, definitely want to shoot my shot when I get the chance, and just be aggressive and defend really well. I think, as a team, we've been really focusing on a lot of those small details that I think can really get us over the line in the end of the games. And in the ones that we've lost, we've just really focused on putting together 40 minutes for 4 quarters. So hopefully tonight we can go out there and I can hopefully hit some shots and play some good D.
And defensively tonight against Sydney, what are the main keys for you?
Just playing as a team defensively and really keeping the communication up and just, like I said, focusing on the small details of defence and team defence, but also just, having confidence that we can all guard the players one-on-one and just know that, we've got everyone backing each other and, just play some good D.
Well, good luck tonight, Taylor, and have a great game.
Thank you.
Laura Hodges with Taylor Brazzle. It's been a brutal stretch of their schedule, Rach. They've lost 6. All of those 6 have come against the top 3 teams. They have showed some positive signs in some of those games, though.
Yeah, they have had a rough draw, but we say it about a lot of teams, but they're just unable to put 40 minutes together. They show patches where they look great, and when they get their offensive fast break game going, they are really good, but the challenge for them is to do it for the full game.
On the Sydney side of things, big game for youngster Maddie Norris last time out. We know that she can fill it up on her NBL 1 pedigree, and she caught up with Laura earlier.
Maddie, thanks for joining us. Well, what a game you had last week. You had 16 points in 15 minutes. We know that you can score because you had a 50-point game in the NBL 1 last year. It must be pretty good to be able to get out there and do what you've just done.
Yeah, it does. It always feels good when you have those games where you're shooting well and you can't miss. But yeah, it's been good, and I think the coaching staff has given everyone confidence in the team to be able to go out and just do what they're good at. So it was really good, yeah.
And within that game, it's such a team performance. It looks like that it's one player down, next player up. How are you going to generate the same effect against the Lightning?
Well, we've been working at training a lot on our court spacing, moving the ball and just getting everyone involved to kind of, we're not going to be able to replace people like Lauren and Unique, but, work on everything, and really a big team effort to win today. So, yeah, it's been really good.
Well, good luck today, and I'm sure you'll have another cracking game and enjoy it.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hopefully another good game coming Maddie Norris's way for the Sydney Flames tonight. It is a pleasure, as always, to have one of the best to ever do it in the great state courtside for us this evening. Let's say a very good evening to Laura Hodges. G'day, Laura.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. Well, the Adelaide Lightning, they've lost 6 in a row, but they have not lost the hearts of the fans. They keep rolling up. They love being in this stadium, and they're so loud. I walked past Jan Sterling, 4-time championship coach with the Adelaide Lightning before. She was my coach, and I said, what do you want to see from the Lightning tonight? And she just said, I want to see them play hard. So for me, I think that she's probably got a little bit more passive over the years, but hopefully it's a good game.
Thank you, Laura. Great stuff indeed, and great to have Jan Sterling in the building tonight. In Adelaide, there's Unique Thompson, not out there for the Sydney Flames tonight, but of course has just come back from travelling overseas due to some family issues. So our thoughts with the Thompson family. We look forward to seeing Unique back out there very soon indeed, and some great matchups across the floor tonight between these two teams. It is Adelaide and Sydney. The Lightning 4-13 on the season. The Flames 6-12. They've won their last 2, 3 of their last 4, Sydney. They bring good form into this one, but the Lightning have got the chocolates in each of their first 2 matchups. And they will start us off with the rock at home. Fagan takes it inside, misses the first one, and he's good on the second attempt.
Fagan's going to be so crucial for them in tonight's game, because we know that if she's playing well, she draws her teammates along with her.
Throwing pass to the corner. Can't hit. Charlotte Whittaker, who was signed mid-season for the Adelaide Lightning, a season of change for them, both in terms of personnel and coaching. Whittaker down low. Fagan rising up. Fouled by McSpadden. It will not fall. An early chance at the line for Sinai Fagan. They took 3 free throws against Perth last time out, Rach. 3.
Yeah, that's a concerning stat. So it's good to see them go inside to Fagan early. She looks like she's ready to play with authority and confidence in there, and hopefully she can get herself to the line a few more times.
They shoot the best rate in the competition in terms of free throw percentage, Adelaide. The only downside is they shoot the least of them. So if they can get to the line, which we've seen Steph Talbot do, she had 16 free throw attempts recently against Southside. When they are putting pressure on the rim, they look like a much better team.
Yeah, and they are really a great transition team, but they just don't do it enough, mainly because they don't rebound well enough to be able to push the ball. So if they can get back to that tonight, as well as getting it in there, but it's a little bit just about effort as much as it is about tactically trying to get it inside.
Raja Paramamar has spoken about that recently with this Adelaide team, that the want to really push the ball in transition. Renee Garlop said that Sydney's changed a few things recently in their offense to get a bit more ball movement involved as well. Here's Shanice Swain going to the cup, lays that one home.
And that was just a nice, easy basket for Swain. She recognized that the defense parted, and she took it all the way strongly. Looked really good.
Whittaker goes in at Agnes Semenopu. She's able to get herself on the board. Adelaide losing by 15 to Perth. They kept that one close in the first half. The Lynx were able to stretch their legs a little bit in the second half. And, of course, Sydney too good for Canberra by 12 earlier in this round as Swain pulls up from outside. That won't fall. Rebound will spill to Sinai Fagan, who had a rough shooting outing last time, but the stat line was elite. 11-9, 3 assists, 3 steals, 4 blocks. Doing a little bit of everything, as she's done throughout the course of the campaign. That's been an issue for Adelaide all season, turning the ball over. Can inside, beautiful feed, and Eminopu makes it good.
Well, really good decision. She kept the ball alive. She didn't pass it too quickly. She looked at her options, and out of the corner of her eye, saw Eminopu streaming to the basket.
Playing some really rejuvenated basketball, Nick Can. A little bit more freedom in the Renee Garlop offense as Fagan drains the mid-range jump shot.
So that's something, she can shoot those shots.
Yep.
You got to make sure you carry a hand on that, not have your hands down by your side. That's an easy shot for her. So we see Eminopu take a 3-point shot.
Talbot will push the ball in transition, something that Rajaparamama wants them to do more of, and that is a sloppy turnover from Sinai Fagan.
Well, that's what I talked about at the beginning, is possession. You can't afford that unforced turnovers like that. It just hands the ball back to Sydney on a platter.
Something we see a bit too much of from this Adelaide team. Talbot plays the passing lanes, almost took it away from Can, who got it back, raced to the hoop. And now a 5-on-4 break here for Adelaide as McCann pulls herself out of the advertising signage. Talbot in the corner, good look at it. Froling got upended by Whittaker. He's been praised for her physicality by her coach, but just a touch too much of it on that play.
She has been good coming in, though, and another big body that is helping them inside with the rebounds as well. So good to see her out there. She's got a pretty incredible story.
Of course, both interim coaches with these two teams. Renee Garlop taking over from Guy Malloy mid-season, and Rajaparamama taking over from Karen Mitchell. See there the numbers, the offensive rebounding for Sydney, such a strength. Swain had to put it up over a hand and didn't make the journey. Last touch by Adelaide.
Well, Sydney are #1 in the competition for offensive rebounds, and 15.4. And I thought so far Adelaide's done a pretty good job of blocking out when a shot goes up. I'm sure that was a focus at training this week.
Rolling long two, won't fall. Right on cue, Laurie. They get another look at it.
The thing is they don't often get a clean rebound, but they can tap it out. They get their fingertips in there, and that's enough if you can just tap it to a teammate, make it competitive.
And it's always harder to guard off an offensive rebound. You're in scramble mode, and like this, it's easy to get to the rim and get a foul shot.
So Adelaide on top early, of course, really in crunch time of this WNBL season, so don't miss a chance to catch a game live this summer if you're on holiday somewhere or close to home. It's a great family day out, affordable, unforgettable fun. Scan the QR code on screen, head to WNBL.com.au to find a game near you and get your tickets. Plenty of great WNBL action coming over the final rounds of the season. Rolling makes both at the line.
She's an 81% foul shooter, so that's a good result for her, that she keeps that percentage high.
Tosses it down low. Does Fagan here. Rabati had it swatted away by Keely Froling. Swain takes the crumbs. Whips it cross court. Eminopu came up with it. McCann will get this Sydney offense set up, which has been a struggle at certain times, but has played with some real zip recently. Sinai Fagan not letting Michaela Can have an easy look as she swats that one out of play. Let's bring that element of rim protection to this Adelaide team. Swain stepping back, so smooth.
Wow, she has got that shooter's mentality, coming out, executing that baseline out of bounds play. Catch it, looked where her defense was. Just a really good shot as we see Dallas Lockridge putting the ball to the floor, getting her feet in the paint, and now finds herself at the foul line.
Part of the rolling 24 and under team of the year, according to Laurie Chiswick. Having a terrific season, her first really marshalling the troops, and she well and truly makes the age threshold, Laurie, because she doesn't turn 22 until later this month.
She has only had one game where she hasn't scored in double figures. 4 games she scored over 20, the highest being 26.
She's been very consistent, 25 last time out for Adelaide. Really taken that opportunity by the scruff of the neck in the City of Churches this year. Adelaide on top by 1 in the early going. Hard drive from Froling, got fouled. So Keely Froling will go back to the free throw line. She sits second in the Froling Scoring Cup across their WNBL and NBL seasons. So, of course, she and Alicia have got the matchup going on when they play each other. But Alicia had a 25-point game this season. Keely's had a 24-point game. And Sam, on return to the Illawarra Hawks, has had a 22-point game. So it's close at the top in the Froling household.
That's a great stat.
That would be a fun family group chat.
Yeah.
I think Harry had a 40 or a 50-point game in the last NBL 1 season for the Melbourne Tigers, but with Sam coming back, he's now sitting on the bench for the Illawarra Hawks as the replacement player. So great to see Sam back playing basketball as it is Harry, and have both of the Froling girls doing so well in this WNBL season also. Adelaide on top by 1 early in this one. Let's check in courtside. Laura Hodges.
Hi guys, well I'm sitting closer to the Sydney bench and I just love the fact that Renee and Tom Garlop, the way that they work together is incredible as husband and wife, because I know my husband's in the building right now and hopefully he doesn't watch this, but I don't think we would work as a team like they are right now.
Hopefully you get away with that one at home later on, Laura.
I'm sure there'll be messages going flying after that one.
Of course, Tom, a very good hooper in his day as well. Lockridge with the takeaway here, gets past Swain, and then Swain makes sure that Dallas doesn't get a look at it. That's going to be an exciting matchup between those two guards tonight.
Well, you can just see that nice little hesitation dribble from Dallas Lockridge, but that's something Swain has to be really careful of. She's turned the ball over at the other end and has come down and committed a foul. So you just have to make sure that you, as I say, unforced turnovers, you can't have them or minimize them.
And you don't want to compound a mistake by giving away a cheat foul like that. We know Sydney are undermanned at the moment, so she really can't afford to get into foul trouble in this game.
Lockridge makes both at the line. She's got 5 on the night. Fagan has 4 for the Lightning in the early going. Janice Swain's got 4 at the other end for Sydney. Adelaide with a 3-point lead. Their 2 wins so far this season, by 17 in round 4 against Sydney and by 19 in round 7. The only 2 games Adelaide have won by double figures so far this season have been against this Sydney team. So they've had the wood over the Flames in the early part of the year as Emma Nopu gets that to go with the right hand.
She is so athletic and quick. That first step is explosive when she goes to the basket. We just don't quite see it enough in her.
Unique Thompson was full of praise for her in a recent press conference, called her a freaking machine, and said she's never seen anything like what Agnes Emanopu can do. That's high praise from someone who's played college ball at a very high level and spent some time in the WNBA as well. Adelaide get another look at it, so some promising signs on the glass. Lockridge stepping back, can't hit. It slips through the grasp of Talbot.
Adelaide right now are doing a really good job of looking at the mismatches when Sydney are switching.
Maddie Norris coming off a career high last time out. Can't get the runner to go. Lockridge in the open floor, sizes up Amanopu, gets underneath. The reverse finish is beautiful. And Dallas Lockridge will head to the free throw line.
See, this is when Adelaide are at their best, when they are able to get defensive rebounds and push the ball, and Dallas just makes a fabulous decision and a magnificent finish there.
What about the craft here from Dallas Lockridge on the Amy replay?
My goodness.
Well, she got into the body and just, there was no way that shot could be blocked. There was no way that she could come around and do much else other than foul. So really smart, high IQ.
Someone who is really in command of their game, not being hurried up, not being overawed by the situation under pressure. She is playing some really good basketball, is Dallas Lockridge, and impressing her coach, Aja Paramama, who caught up with Laura Hodges a little bit earlier and spoke about what she wanted to see from her team tonight.
They play really well together. They move the ball really well on the offensive end, really quick. And it's kind of, I guess that's the danger, is you don't really know who's going to go off. I know Jessica McDowell-White has been killing. Michaela Can's been doing well. I know both of them, so I'm low-key happy for them. At the same time, don't want them to get happy tonight. So, yeah, it's they do it as a collection, and so we just got to be ready for everything.
A little bit of an NBL 1 North connection between Aja Paramama, who's coached both in men's and women's programs in that competition, and Jess McDowell-White and Michaela Can, who've been plying their trade for the Sydney Flames so far this year. Joel Peterson, Laurie Chuzik, Rachel Jarry, and Laura Hodges with you on this Tuesday night as Dallas Lockridge goes to the line to try and add the bonus and open up a 4-point lead for the Adelaide Lightning. It's been a really impressive start for the home team. 3.5 to go in this opening term. Here's Eminopu on the drive again. Nice take. Cuts the margin back to 2. Laura, what did you hear at that Sydney huddle?
Well, listening into Renee, she was very positive, and I messaged Lauren Nicholson today, and I know she would want to be here, but she said she loves it how Renee puts so much confidence in it, and that's what she was like in the timeout. Just be confident, play disciplined. She wants to see good movement and good isolations.
Pittman tosses it up. Found Norris somehow, maybe not how she drew it up. So Sydney's bench getting a look at it here with Pittman, Norris and McDowell-White out there. Nice pass to the corner from McDowell-White. Swain, the triple, got it.
I think every single player on that team touched the ball. There was crisp ball movement, good decision making as to whether to make an extra pass, whether to shoot it. Penetration, that was a really great offensive set.
Garliff's spoken about how Jess McDowell-White coming off those pick and roll situations sees the corners really well. A beautiful illustration of it there. Brazzle in the corner can't hit. McDowell-White will get another look at it. Been so impressive coming into this team. Her 6th game, averaging 25 minutes a game, 19, 5 and 5 last time out. Swain is feeling it early here, and that is a very dangerous thing for this Adelaide Lightning team.
She is one player that you do not want her eye in, and I feel like it's in now. A couple of threes in a row. She's feeling good.
They're going to have to look now at changing how they're playing her, get up and in, and that's going to now give Swain the opportunity to try and penetrate and go past them. So
a 4-point lead now to Sydney after that timeout. They've ripped off a little 8-0 run here off the back of Shanice Swain. We spoke to Renee Garliff a little bit earlier and asked her what were the keys to stopping Adelaide tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas is having a great season. Obviously, Steph's an incredible player, and they've got good imports as well. I think they've got depth and they've got talent, so it's definitely going to be a tough game, that's for sure.
Renee Garliff, the coach of the Sydney Flames, who stepped in the early part of this season, and Aja Paramamara addressing her team after doing the same for this Adelaide Lightning outfit. If Sydney can shoot the ball like that from Shanice Swain, it's a very dangerous proposition. They're 2 of 7 from outside so far. Adelaide 0 of 3, which is an early issue for this Adelaide Lightning team. And Swain and Lockridge, the 2 lead guards, or the 2 lead scoring guards for their team, lead them in points at the moment, Rach. So hopefully that's a little taster of what we'll see throughout the rest of the evening.
Absolutely, bring it on. They're both such great scorers in different ways, so it's exciting to see them get off to a great start.
Only 8 double-figure games for Shanice Swain so far this season, and that includes the opening 8 minutes of this evening's game. She's off to a hot start indeed. Whistle here by our refereeing crew. Let's get down to Laura and find out what was the message at that last Adelaide huddle.
Well, in that Lightning timeout, it was all about defense. Aja was so disappointed that they weren't rotating, they weren't talking. She wants them to be able to be physical, hit bodies, hit cutters, and work together. So that one was all about defense. Offensively, she said, take your open shots, they'll come, but we need a lift on D.
Thanks, Laura. She was pleased with what they did defensively last time out against Perth, after not being as pleased in the previous match to that. A nice look from the corner there as well for Adelaide. Ash Strawbridge knocks it down from outside. Draws them back within a point. And 45 to play here in this opening period. Maddie Norris takes a bit of contact. Put up with the pre-game, of course, coming off a great performance last time out. 16 points, 6 of 7 shooting. Re-signed with the Sutherland Sharks in the NBL 1 East during the week as well. So it's been a nice week for Maddie Norris, who gets a career high in the WNBL, and certainly not her career high in basketball. We know the 50-point game.
Yep.
But she gave Sutherland 9 20-point games last NBL 1 season as well, as Keely Froling takes it inside. So she can fill it up, and for a big, has got a really nice stroke on her.
Well, speaking to Renee Garliff earlier, she was saying about Maddie Norris that she's quite a quiet person, but has an exceptionally high basketball IQ. And so when she speaks, everybody pays attention and listens.
Chance outside here for Brazzle. Can't hit. It's an impressive rebound from Rabati. Looked like she was playing full forward. One out in the cage, and then outside. Brazzle knocks down the triple off the back of it and ties us up at 20. Minute to go in this opening term. Tuesday night hoops from Adelaide. Joel Peterson, Laurie Chiswick, Rachel Jarry and Laura Hodges with you. Swain puts the moves on. Pittman with the toss out wide. McDowell White to the corner. Swain for another. She's got it. She's on fire in this opening term.
Well, that was just a great flare screen, and she read it well. The pass was picture perfect, and she just caught it and had such a quick release.
Brazzle trying to answer back with the 2-for-1 opportunity.
And you know, Rachel, what I like about it is that she has got the hot hand, so they set up that play for her. They set up that flare screen so she could get open and catch and shoot it.
There's nothing worse than when someone gets hot and their team forgets about it and doesn't keep going to them. So, agree.
Turnover forced by Fijo. Nice work from the Lightning, and Talbot takes it in. She'll look for the bonus. And she was pleased with the work of Jazz Fijo as well. Why not? For Steph Talbot. Nice little dime there. Good to see Jazz Fijo back in this lineup for Adelaide. And Talbot can tie us at 23 at the end of this opening term. Opening quarters have been a problem for Adelaide this year. They've had won only 4 of their 17 so far this season. Level once at quarter time as well. Level at the moment. Second difference shot to game clock as Fagan creates some defensive chaos.
Well, they did a good job into going into an extended defense on that made foul shot, and it really rushed Sydney.
Pittman, McSpadden, Froling, McDowell White and Norris out there for the Flames. McDowell White waits for things to unfold. And stepped on the paint. So Adelaide will get a look at this with 5.7 remaining. A chance to take the lead into quarter time for just the 5th time this season. Brazzle up ahead, Talbot behind the back, almost lost it, then did lose it. And at the end of the first term, we can't be split. Adelaide on their home floor came out strong. But Shanice Swain led the Sydney Flames back into things. It's all tied up at the end of one. Adelaide and Sydney at 23 apiece. Quarter in the books in Adelaide, back where we started, tied at 23 after this first term. Adelaide have won both of the matchups between these two teams this season. Sydney come in having won 3 of their past 4, 23 apiece at the end of the opening quarter. Joel Peterson, Rachel Jarry, And Laurie Chiswick with you on this Tuesday night. As Sanaya Fagan comes up with the strip, offloads it to Brazzle, and the fast break bucket to start the second term for Adelaide. And Taylor Brazzle will have the and one opportunity off the back of it. Perfect start to this second quarter, and that's that transition basketball that we want to see from them, Rach.
Absolutely, and it started with the defense. Fagan anticipated that pass, was able to get in the passing lane, get that steal, and that's something Adelaide need to continue to work on. I thought they had a few containment issues in that first quarter, so hopefully they can clean that up, start to get deflections, get some rebounds and some steals and be able to run.
Laura Hodges is courtside for us. Laura, what did you hear at quarter time?
Well, I was in the Sydney huddle and Renee said that, well, she thinks that was the worst basketball that they've played in 3 weeks and they're still 23-all. So she's happy with that. But defensively, she doesn't want people over-helping. Just stick to the gap spots, discipline, and you can hear her now yelling out, gap, gap, and do not over-help.
Every cloud has a silver lining as Steph Talbot drains the three. And Adelaide go whack, whack coming out of quarter time. Talbot now up to 6 points. Lockridge has 7 for the Lightning. Swain with 13, 2 and 2 for Sydney. Not out there on the floor at the moment. Can Eminopu, McSpadden, Froling, and Jess McDowell-White doing the duties for Renee Garlop. Here's a nice sign from Steph Talbot on the Amy replay. She's stepping out and hitting threes. That offense just starts to open up for the Lightning. Froling on the take here. Fouled by Shan Rabadi.
I think you mentioned it, Rach, about dribble penetration.
Yeah.
You know, that's just something you've got to try and get the spacing right, keep your player in front of you, because as soon as they get any part of their body beside you, the refs are going to have to call a foul.
Swain living dangerously with the pass, having checked back in. Got it to McSpadden. They will feed Swain, who's got 13 in the early going. Saw a window. Didn't get that one to fall.
Great box out by Whitaker there.
Starts the break for Adelaide. Back the other way. Lockridge left alone. You cannot be doing that.
Nope.
No, you cannot go under. The scout says, stay with her, stay on top, carry a hand.
37% three-point shooting on the season absolutely backs that up. Keely Froling directing traffic. Goes herself to the hoop and lays it in. Impressive finish from Kay Froll. Just under 2 minutes gone here in this second term. Sydney's first basket there through Froling. Talbot lines one up from deep. They're hitting from everywhere, the Lightning. They are striking left, right and centre. Timeout in the early stages here in this second term, and the Lightning are out by 10. What a start to this second quarter for the Adelaide Lightning, who have already put on 12 points in just over 2 minutes.
Well, last game against Perth, they shot the three ball at 29%. And if you look today, right now, it's at 50%, so they are feeling it.
And it's easy for them at the moment. Sydney are giving them open shots, so they're not having to think about it. They know they're open, they know they're in rhythm and able to shoot that and knock it down.
Lockridge up to 10, Talbot 9. And Adelaide, who hadn't hit a three-pointer for a good portion of the opening term, and now 5 of 10 from outside. Sydney 3 of 10. Going back the other way and shooting 52% from the field. The Adelaide Lightning is a team that hasn't won in their last 6 and has come out firing here in this second quarter. Rapid start to this second term for the Adelaide Lightning. Steph Talbot's seen a couple that she's liked the look of, and they've found the bottom of the net. Dallas Lockridge also 12 points to 2 in the quarter thus far has built Adelaide a 10-point lead. What have Sydney got in response to try and dig themselves out of this hole? Shanice Swain's been very productive so far. That was last touch by McSpadden, so ball will go back with Adelaide again.
So we know Sydney are look like they're switching screens, and the reason that Steph was able to get that last 3-point shot is that they're anticipating their switching. You have to wait until they get to the point of the screen before you switch, otherwise you're giving them a really easy open three.
And somebody like Talbot, she's going to recognize that, read that, and take advantage of that.
Great call out from Rachel Jarry alongside Laurie Chuzik with you this evening.
In the Sydney timeout if you want.
Fagan from the free throw line, can't hit. Whittaker pulls it down and gives Adelaide another look. Lockridge trying to manoeuvre the offense, fires away from downtown. Whittaker goes up strong again, and this will stay with Adelaide. Whittaker, Lockridge, Fijo, Fagan, and Strawbridge, the 5 out there at the moment for the Lightning. Can, Swain, McSpadden, Froling, and Jess McDowell-White for Sydney. Lockridge again gets the screen from Fagan and hits another one. Dallas Lockridge up to 13 points.
Wow. That's all I can say right now. They are shooting the ball with so much confidence, which we haven't seen in the past.
Last 4 buckets from Adelaide, all 3-pointers, as Keely Froling is fouled making her way to the hoop, and lets the referee know about it.
The thing is that when a team goes on a scoring spree like that, you have to be able to weather the storm. You think, are they going to be able to shoot that way for the whole quarter, for the whole game? And so you have to stay in touch. But I look at Sydney right now and I think, who is going to be scoring for them? We know with Nicholson out and Thompson out, that's almost 34 points a game between them. So who is going to step up in the scoring department?
Maybe Keely Froling. That one rattles out. Eminopu pushed off the offensive glass. 5 offensive boards apiece. We spoke earlier about how crucial that was going to be to determining the outcome tonight. Adelaide by 13. Neither side led by more than 4 in the opening term. This will stay with the Lightning. Thompson spoke after their win against Bendigo recently, Sydney, about how it's a game of runs, and when a team gets on the run, you've got to stay together, you've got to try and get some stops, and then your turn will come. At the moment, they can't get stops. Steph Talbot got another good look. It's really are Adelaide making or missing at this stage. It is determining Sydney's fate rather than anything they're doing. Not a hugely comfortable position to be in. Eminopu's a bit strong. Whittaker, another strong box out to keep rolling off the glass. Talbot zips it inside. A little bit too much juice on it for Whittaker. Here's McDowell-White for 3. Needed it, didn't get it. Fagan might have slid out of play.
Sydney have probably taken a few early shots now in their offense for me. I think, in that first quarter they had success with their dribble penetration and getting past their opponents, and now they're just settling a little bit. It's one pass shot. I think they need to go back to what's been working for them earlier in this game and also the past 3 games, and that's ball movement. Ball tries to touch every player and get some dribble penetration.
I agree 100%, Rach, and that's what scoreboard pressure does. You just feel you need to get a quick shot up, try and get the margin back down.
It's been a really noticeable shift in that Sydney game over the last little while, though, hasn't it? That ball movement has clearly been a focus for Renee Garland.
Yeah, and I think, when you are an undermanned team and you've got players coming in or playing big minutes that wouldn't usually, they do get to play with a little bit more freedom, knowing they're not on a short leash, they're not going to get taken out after a quick turnover or anything like that. So I think that's why we've seen, players be able to step up and play a bit better, and, that's why they've been so good. So they just need to try and go back to that now and just play with that freedom, play with that ball movement and purpose.
Halfway through this second term, 15 points to 2 in the frame as Eminopu is fouled going to the hoop.
And that's just a nice clear out for her. Let her go to work, get a ball reversal, shift the D, and she can just pound it in with her athleticism and her speed, her quickness, explosiveness.
It's been a terrific season for Agnes Eminopu. Started 13 of her 18 appearances. Of course, first season here in the WNBL after a college career at Stanford and then an Elite 8 run with TCU last year. The beautifully named Horned Frogs. One of the great names in world sport, Laurie. I don't know whether it's right in my wheelhouse, sort of sporting team names, and it doesn't come much better than the Horned Frogs. I've never seen a horned frog. I'm not sure I'd want to.
I know when Guy Malloy recruited her, he said that she was just such a great person, a hard worker, had so much upside to her game.
Here I was thinking you were going to tell me that...
Just ignored your horn.
Yeah, I thought you were going to tell me that was part of the reason that he recruited her, as Shanice Swain gets the bucket to go. I was about to jump out of my chair with delight.
Ready to rename Sydney Horned Frogs.
Might be native to the Sydney region, who knows? They've got this lead back to single figures. Brazzle passes open the look, got it to Lockridge. Little crossover, works her way into the paint, back out to Brazzle. No good on the three. Maddie tried her best to keep it alive. Swain with 15 in the game leads all scorers. Shanice Swain cannot be stopped right now.
Well, you know, it goes in and we all go amazing.
Yeah.
If it hadn't gone in, it would be back to your point, Rachel. Is the right shot to take so early? But I tell you what, when it comes from Shanice Swain, she kicks it. She's just, I mean, Dallas Lockridge is there too. That's what she can do.
That is, there's two words for that. That is a heat check.
Yeah,
that is
absolutely.
nothing short of a heat check from Shanice Swain. And the heat check has come back affirmative. The temperature is right where it needs to be for Shanice Swain at the moment. So it is Adelaide by 6, 38-32. No better way to show your club loyalty down the stretch in this WNBL season than repping your favourite player's jersey. You can head and find them all at WNBLstore.com.au. Some great stuff there. Maybe you're running behind on Christmas presents, or you just need to rep your team's colours in their run to the postseason. Both of these teams hoping that they can still get there. Aja Paramamar spoke about the fact that they remain a chance, this Adelaide team, said after their last game, do not count us out, because it is coming for us. It was interesting to hear the different approaches from both of the coaches. Aja Paramamar very happy to talk about finals. Steph Talbot even said the F word. And then in the Sydney post-game press conference, it was line and length from Renee Garliff. It was just, we are focusing on the next game and not getting too far ahead of things. They are still in the hunt. This Sydney team having won their last two and 3 of their past 4.
Well, Adelaide, out of any team in the 8, they don't have any games left against the big, I'm going to say the big 3 right now. So their run home, you know, I can see why they're at least thinking in that direction. 3
games against Southside, as Rach told us earlier. Adelaide get a bucket to get that margin back out to 8. Here's a chance for Maddie Norris from downtown. That one is wide left, out of play. 3:27 remaining. Adelaide will get the ball back, gives us an opportunity to go to Laura Hodges.
Yes, I was in the Adelaide timeout, and Aja, she always says, take a deep breath, but she reiterated that Sydney had scored 3 times in a row. They hadn't scored for 4 offences. They need to be able to read the defence, because Sydney are mixing up their defence. So she doesn't want them to stick the ball in one spot, still keep with the ball movement and get a good shot. And they really did that when Sanaya scored that first offence.
Thanks, Laura. Gallup hasn't been shy at throwing a few different looks out there for that Sydney defence. A bit of a smaller lineup.
Ooh.
Norris and Emma Nopu playing the 2 big spots. Turnover for the Flames. Rabati comes the other way. Talbot looks inside. Fagan with the seal. The catch. Can't score, but was fouled.
And that's better from Adelaide. The last 3 possessions since that timeout, they've gone inside, whether it's pass or dribble penetration. And, you know, they were hitting the 3 so great at the start of this quarter, but they went a little bit cold, so it's good to see them go back inside where their strengths were in that first quarter.
Well, the thing is when you're hot from the 3-point line, it forces the defenders to have to get out. It stretches the floor. They have to be out carrying a hand. And then it opens your interior a little bit more.
7-4 for Sanaya so far in this one. Gets it back out to a 9-point game. Adelaide led by as many as 13 earlier in the term at 38-25. Sydney then pulled off a 7-0 run to close the gap. Rolling from outside, that won't fall. Brazzle tried the quarterback pass, and Froling was playing cornerback and tipped it out of play.
And if you're Sydney, that's what you have to make sure. You do not give Adelaide any easy baskets, so any transition fast break baskets. You've got to make sure your defensive transition is really good. Make them play in the court.
Chiswick and Rachel Jarry running their eyes over things this evening. Laura Hodges courtside. Can, Pittman, Swain, Eminopu rolling the lineup for Sydney. Lockridge, Talbot, Rabati, Fagan and Brazzle for Adelaide. Fagan, nice drop-off pass. Rabati dropped the shoulder. And the whistle on the play. Offensive foul going against Sean Rabati.
It's actually a pity. I really like their movement and their ball, kicking it to the wing to give them a better angle to get it inside. They knew Sydney are switching, so there's mismatches all over the place, and Adelaide are really looking to take advantage of that.
Sean Rabati's got 5 assists in the game, as well as she checks out. Here's Shanice Swain again. That one won't fall. She had some success from that spot on the floor so far. Adelaide by 9, 2 minutes remaining. Lockridge, the crossover, loves that move, gets inside, draws the contact. So shifty, Dallas Lockridge, when she gets ahead of steam up. Just continues to grow into her game. The opportunity to lead this Adelaide team at that point guard position, and learning from one of the best to do it in Steph Talbot, who's done it at all levels of international basketball. A couple of free throws will fall for their emerging guard. 13 in the game, or 15 in the game now for Dallas Lockridge. Pittman's been giving Sydney some really good minutes in recent times with her energy. Swain with a game-high 18. Offloads to Eminopu. There's some of that ball movement from the Flames. Can driving baseline, gets underneath. And was fouled. Adelaide might have had a case that there was a little bit too much footwork there from Mick Can. Whistle on the play before that. Sanaya Fagan can't quite believe it.
Nah, fair enough. If you travel because you got fouled, it's a foul.
Sydney now in the bonus, so heading to the free throw line from this point forth.
Can had a great game against Canberra, 13 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. And I thought she did a really good job of controlling the tempo, controlling any momentum swings that were going their way. She showed her experience on the court.
31-year-old, so just provides such a presence, has seen a lot in her basketball career, and really settling influence for what is, without Lauren Nicholson, a reasonably young Sydney team. Talbot puts it on the floor, takes it all the way in, and finishes in trademark style. That is Steph Talbot at her slashing best.
We haven't seen as much of that this year as perhaps we should have or would like to see from Steph Talbot. She is so strong. When she puts her mind to it and gets herself to the basket, she's so hard to stop.
And it looked like Sydney were in a bit of a zone there, and you need to attack the zone with that dribble penetration. So it's a great move from Steph, and Sydney now need to lock down and not give that up if they stay in that zone.
It's not a strength of the Adelaide team. As Pittman hits a little off-balance runner. That's a nice move.
Sydney want to make sure they try and either make a dent into this 10-point margin or certainly not let it extend.
Love to have it at single digits at half-time. Fijo for Brazzle. That one's wide right. Rebound will fall to Agnes Eminopu. Swain's got 18. Eminopu's got 8. Lockridge and Talbot, the two Lightning players in double figures thus far from a scoring perspective. 9 on the shot clock here for Carla Pittman. Makes her move baseline, kicks it back out. This will stay with Sydney with 5 on the shot clock. And Pittman, Eminopu, Caitlin Martin and Keely Froling the lineup to close the quarter here for the Flames. Lockridge, Talbot, Fijo, Strawbridge and Brazzle as Froling establishes position down low and got fouled by Talbot.
I like that. With 5 seconds to go on the clock, keep it simple. Either you know, a quick pick and roll or straight inside to Froling, who had the position on Talbot. Take it at her.
Couple at the line so far for Keely Froling. Was 4 of 8 last time out. Couldn't lean that one home. 6 and 5, so been productive thus far in the game. Second misses as well. So that'll be burgers, courtesy of Keely Froling. Code word is W Paddle. Head to the WNBL app, claim your free cheeseburgers. Head to your South Australian Hungry Jack's store by 6 o'clock tomorrow and tell them Keely sent you as you pick up your free burger. 8 on the shot clock here for the Flames. Froling again, Emma Nopu heaves one up. That's no good. Rebound to Lockridge and time to work with for Adelaide to close the half. Talbot makes her move, slips over, and time will expire in the meantime. But Adelaide hold a double-figure lead at half-time, courtesy of a 23-13 second term. They rattled off 15 of the first 17 points in that quarter. And despite Sydney's best efforts, they weren't able to close the gap from a meaningful perspective. Adelaide by 10 at half-time. Let's get some reaction from the Lightning with Laura.
Well, Dallas, great first half. Up by 10, 46-36. You've got 15 points yourself. How are you feeling out there?
Yeah, it's good. Our energy's good. I think we're playing inside out and we're getting heat on the ring and drawing fouls, so it's good.
And Shanice Swain, she's hit 18, 4 from the three-point line. How do you stop her in the second half?
Yeah, she's a great player. We need to make sure we're aware and know where she is at all times.
Awesome. Good luck the second half.
Thanks.
Making a very strong season in a scoring perspective, Dallas Lockridge leads Adelaide with 15 points. Adelaide lead the game by 10. Rachel Jarry and Laurie Chiswick with their thoughts on the other side of this.
That's just so
Halftime in Adelaide, it's the home team doing it pretty comfortably at halftime, 46-36. Adelaide's won both of their games against Sydney by double figures so far this season. And the trend is their friend to halftime, up by 10. Laurie Chiswick and Rachel Jarry there are our our halftime match stats. And it's nice reading for the Adelaide Lightning, Laurie.
Oh, it is, and I love the fact that both teams only have 6 turnovers. But for Adelaide, they are shooting that 3 ball at 40%. It came out in the second quarter and just started nailing those shots. But the other thing, it's such a contrast from their previous game. They are 12 from 14 from the foul line. And last game, they went to the foul line 3 or 4 times. So that's been a big, big difference for Adelaide.
And the early edge in the rebounding count as well, Rach, which was so important. As we take a look at our Hungry Jacks halftime highlights, we said that energy and that effort in terms of the boards would be a critical factor tonight, and it's showing out for Adelaide.
Yeah, absolutely. It shows the intent they came in with. And we heard Dallas Lockridge just at that halftime break talk about that they're getting a good inside-outside game, which they certainly are. They've been able to get the ball inside when Sydney have switched and look at the mismatches inside, as well as we know they've been lighting it up from outside as well. So I think defensively, Adelaide will want to lock down a little bit more on containment, but they just need to keep doing what they're doing in offense, and Sydney are going to have to adjust, I think, in terms of what they're doing to really put some ball pressure on, just to make those passes inside a lot harder, as well as trying to lock them down in transition.
Sydney clawed some ground back in the middle part of that quarter through a few different defences at Adelaide as well, but just, as Laura said, it sort of, and we alluded to in the call, it felt like they didn't have a great deal of scoring punch as a collective in that second quarter, Laurie.
Well, they didn't, and you know, I was looking at what they're doing, their movement, and thinking, where is the next score coming from? But if we look at our Blackmores head-to-head, we've got Dallas Lockridge and Swain. Both of them are on fire from the three-point line, accumulating 18 and 15 points, and I really like that battle out there. Both of them have really taken care of the ball well. They're playing really elite basketball right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I think the challenge, particularly for Swain, is we know she hasn't quite been herself this season, but you know, we wanted her to continue to take good shots and not get too carried away with the heat check, although we love them. But, you know, she's such a dangerous player, and now Adelaide are going to have to play her differently in this second half. So I think other things are going to have to open up for her with that dribble penetration and finding her teammates as well. So I think, you know, she'll be really dangerous if she can keep that up.
As the one among us three who didn't have any playing ability, I love the heat check even more. Steph Talbot's had a great first half as well, 12 points for her, and shooting the 3 ball really well, looking for that shot too, and things just start to open up when she's knocking those down, Rach.
Yeah, they do, and you know, she took what's there. She's never, you know, doing too much, Steph Talbot. She's doing what's given to her, and we love it when she's aggressive like that, driving into the rim, and she just changes that whole Adelaide team when she's playing aggressive like that.
Yeah, 12, 3 and 2. We take a look at her forward shot chart. A couple from that right wing, and then a couple of really tough finishes through contact, which is really her MO. That's right in her wheelhouse.
Absolutely. She's got the strength. She's got just the firepower. She's got the basketball IQ. And as long as she is invested in the game, which she certainly looks like she is tonight, she can be ultra dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely she can. We know what she can do, Steph Talbot. She's a big key to Adelaide. That's a big part of the reason they've got a 10-point lead here at halftime. Of course, a couple of injuries for Sydney. No Unique Thompson, no Lauren Nicholson. Lara McSpadden, part of their starting lineup tonight, filling the void. And here's a chance to find out a little bit more about her as we head to the break.
Goes again. Had to put it up. Oh, the shot clock was ticking down.
That's always been a dream and a goal of mine, to be a starting 5 in the league, and I've worked really hard in the past, and I will continue to do so. But yeah, just I guess coming back to Sydney, being around other good bigs and in a team where I can really improve is not only going to help like me as an individual get better, but help our team, and then hopefully I can grow with that as well and really assert myself. Yeah.
Swain, immediate feed, great finds. 2016-17,
myself and Lozzie, Lauren Nicholson, were a part of that championship winning team. That was my first year in the league straight out of high school, so I was very lucky to be even a part of that team. We had a star-studded lineup. Like we had like Belinda Snell, Leilani Mitchell, Asia Taylor, Ali Wilson was in that team at the time. Like, yeah, some really good players. That was where I was kind of like, oh damn, this is a great league and I really want to be in it. Yeah.
Another one inside. Stopped Alice there, but couldn't stop Cox.
I've played with other diabetics before, but I've never played against another type 1 diabetic, so that would be really cool. And in the WNBL, she's the first person that I know who isn't myself that has type 1 diabetes. So yeah, that's kind of cool. And like, she's American, and seeing someone else like have that experience as well. And like, yeah, we might be able to connect and talk about it. We don't have to, but yeah, it's just cool to know. Yeah.
Great mismatch, and McSpadden able to take advantage.
Adelaide Lightning on top at halftime here at the SA State Basketball Centre, 46-36 over the Sydney Flames. Joel Peterson, Laurie Chiswick and Rachel Jarry with you. Great to have South Australian basketball royalty with us. And there is more championships than hot dinners on our sideline at the moment as we welcome in Laura Hodges, who's got a very special guest.
Yes, I do. I'm here with Jan Sterling, Adelaide Lightning's most successful coach. 4 championships, 12 consecutive finals when she coached. I spoke to you before the game, Jan. I asked you what you wanted to see, and you just said, I want them to play hard. I thought that was being a bit soft, but how are you thinking now?
Look, I think they've done a terrific job, and I think they've certainly come to play. Their shooting percentages has been really, really good. Their ball movement has been really good. In the first quarter, they struggled a little bit with defensive containment. Once they tidied that up, they've gone really, really well.
And what do you think about this stadium? When I was playing under you, we were 4 stadiums back, and it was very hot. But this atmosphere, there's 36ers everywhere. The kids love it. What are you thinking?
Oh, look, it's fantastic for the game, and I think the important thing is the product is terrific. The athletes are great. They play a good brand of basketball, and it's really enjoyable for the families to enjoy and for all the aspirational kids to come along.
Well, it's great to have you here, Jan. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the second half.
Thank you.
A couple of South Australian basketball greats in Jan Sterling and Laura Hodges, and still talks like a coach. I reckon Jan could still get in the huddle and deliver a pretty nice address.
Oh, I have no doubt about that. She would be, great coach in her time and over, domestically and internationally. And so it's good to see her still out watching and supporting the Adelaide Lightning.
Not required at their huddle, to be fair, here at halftime. 46-36. Renee Garlett with a little bit more work to do here in this second half. A 23-13 second quarter has opened the game up for the Adelaide Lightning. And they'll get another look at it after the almost turnover on this start of the second half. We talked about the good from Adelaide in that halftime break. Where do you think Sydney might see an opening here in this second half to try and get back into the game? Do they need a few to step up around Shanice Swain, or do you lean more into what she's doing at the moment and ride at the hot hand?
Well, that starting at the defensive end, first of all, Exhibit A just there. But yeah, no, I think they need other players to step up. That's what has made them so good in the last few games. Obviously, they need to continue to go to Shanice, in the context of their offense, and hopefully she can make some great decisions with her scoring and passing. Obviously, this is not a great start for Sydney just here, but I think they need just to get everyone involved in the game, but it comes from their defense.
I agree, Rach. I think that they've got to be a bit more disruptive defensively. Yeah. Make Adelaide feel a little bit uncomfortable. Take them out of their comfort zone. Put a bit more pressure. You can see hands are down there. They've got to be up and active. Good split line help. But offensively, well, what a great start for Adelaide. That's Whitaker coming on, being able to nail that 3. Offensively, I'd like to see Frawling a little bit more involved, present inside, test the defense. Really test what Adelaide could do.
New game high lead of 15 for Adelaide off the Charlotte Whitaker 3. Can trying to force her way underneath. The Kiwi big not all that pleased with the call. 51-36, 8:39 remaining here in this third term. Of course, what a week of basketball we've got coming up out west. Hoops Fest is just around the corner. That's going to be so exciting as we get through this week. It all starts on Thursday, only 2 days away. WNBL action a part of it all. I'll tell you a little bit more about it later in the broadcast. Shanice Swain spinning her way inside, couldn't finish. Talbot up ahead. Lockridge on the move, snaking her way through the paint. Just rolls off the front of the rim. Now Frawling in transition. What can Sydney conjure up here? Can the skip pass? Frawling underneath. Just nestles that one in nicely.
Well, I like that. Sorry,
yeah,
from Frawling. And the other thing, I think, Frawling, when Fagan's guarding her, we know that Fagan, over the course of the season, has gotten into foul trouble. So, again, go at her, make her defend you.
I was going to say exactly the same thing, Laurie. She's either got Whitaker or Fagan defending her, so she's got the foot speed on them. She needs to attack with her dribble penetration.
Averaging 3.3 fouls a game this season is Sinai Fagan. Has been a little bit of an issue that Adelaide have had to manage at different points.
Well, actually, that was a point of mine at the beginning of the game, foul discipline for both teams. And I think they've done a good job. Nobody's gone to the foul line early. Nobody's in foul trouble, so that changes rotations and matchups. So they've both done a pretty good job.
Rolling out here for Swain, who's got a game-high 18. Gets a look at it. Can't hit that time. Rebound to Fagan. She's got 5 on the boards tonight to go with 8 points. Talbot turns it over inside. Emma Nopu with the takeaway. Shanice Swain back the other way. That one falls off the rim. And she's not running as hot as she was earlier in the contest, Shanice Swain.
She's too close to the basket on that one.
Needed to be about 24 feet back. Going to come out of the game for 18 points tonight. Hasn't had the season that she would have hoped at the start. Has been plagued by just little injury niggles throughout the course of the campaign. Shanice Swain coming off a all WNBL caliber season last year. Kayla Can going to the hoop, can't finish there. Lockridge, Talbot, Tofayano, Rabati and Brazzle the 5 here for Adelaide. Can playing some really smart defense there to jump the pass.
Really great anticipation, positioning from Can, seeing where the ball is, knowing exactly where her player is. Wasn't going to lose sight of her. And was able to get that deflection.
Just McDowell-White out there running point now for Sydney with Can, Emanopu, McSpadden and Froling. So 3 bigs out there for Sydney at the moment. McDowell-White from outside, foul on the loose ball. It's going to stay with Sydney as Keely Froling hit the deck. Quite a few fouls tonight. That's number 7 that Keely Froling's been able to draw.
That's always a hard one because Dallas Lockridge was really just trying to block her out, which they want to do with these Flames outfit because we know how relentless they are in the offensive rebounds. So as a coach, you would go, that's not a bad foul.
McDowell-White, corner triple. That's no good. Emma Nopu recycles the possession. Fades away, can't hit.
I have to say, most of Sydney's shots, I feel tonight, when they shoot them, are falling short. They're hitting the front of the rim.
Just off the back of a double header this week. Sydney having beaten Canberra on Saturday. Adelaide going down to Perth and then the travel back here to their home state. Lockridge to the corner. Good look at it. Wouldn't fall there. For Rabati, who's had her struggles shooting the ball tonight. 0 of 4. Froling making her move inside and getting tangled up for the afters as well, which I'm not going to say Keely Froling's immune to it. It's a reasonably regular occurrence and we love her passion. She is a vocal force out there on the floor. Just making sure that everyone knew that she agreed with the call.
Well, you can't let someone have a free layup after the foul's been called either.
You got to love what Keely Froling brings to the game. It's an expression a minute. When Kay Froll's out there.
Love it.
She's been pretty aggressive tonight. 8 points, 7 rebounds as well. So she's been important on the glass for them as always. First season back at Sydney, having plied her trade with Geelong last season. Baseline inbound here from Michaela Can. 5:34 left in this third term. Adelaide by 13. Their game high lead came earlier in the term, and that's a messy turnover for the Flames. Just can't afford those kind of moments when you're trying to claw your way back into this ball game. Talbot underneath. Adelaide dealing with some personnel issues, given that Sian Rabati's just fell out of the contest. So an opportunity here for Strawbridge. That one's offline. 4 fouls, so 1 away from fouling out.
Scoring for both teams has really dried up. I mean, Adelaide have only scored 5 points, but Sydney really haven't been able to take advantage of it.
It's 5-2 so far in this term.
There you go.
So it's been a grind for both of these teams. Sydney looking for a 7th win, a 3rd in a row, a 4th in their past 5. Adelaide trying to break a 6-game duck.
That's trouble when Fagan can get the ball deep in there with the defender wide and or right behind her.
And they hit more often than not from that position. Sydney just struggling to find something that's clicking for them on offense. Eminopu puts her left hand to good use.
Well, that's the dribble penetration we were talking about, Rachel, that they need to do. Put the pressure on Adelaide's defense. See if they contain them. See if they foul them. Really good take by Eminopu. And a turnover here. A little bit of a mini run for Sydney.
Froling puts it on the floor. And McSpadden stepped on the line. They need to put a force field on that sideline down the left-hand side of the floor.
Oh, it's just so heartbreaking as a team because, like you said, Laurie, they've just gone on a little mini run, got a little bit of momentum, and then now 2 of those unforced, silly turnovers.
That sideline just creeps up on you, doesn't it,
Yep,
Rachel?
It does.
Kind of like when you're a kid and you're walking along the footpath and the footpath, you know, the cracks in the footpath are lava. The sideline needs to be lava at this stage for the Sydney Flames. Here's Strawbridge up top. 3-ball goes. Back to a 14-point gap for the Lightning. Eminopu cross court. McDowell White attacking the closeout. Back to Agnes for 3. Bottom. Nice hit from Agnes Eminopu, who's got 13 on the evening. Third leading scorer in the ball game. Only one of 4 players in double figures so far. Sydney shooting 34% from the field. Fagan. That's all too easy for Sanaya.
She did. She made that look really easy against Keely Froling.
At the edge by double figures throughout this term have Adelaide. 56-43 with 2:45 remaining here in this third term. Is the Amy replay of Ash Strawbridge lining up the triple. Adelaide 8 of 18 from downtown tonight.
When they get some of those other contributors scoring it really does make them a different team.
So some foul trouble here for Adelaide. A little bit of confusion about whether Shan Rabati is still back into the game. Laura, what mail have you got down there?
Rabati is definitely fouled out. So that last foul, the little confrontation with Froling, she was a foul, which would have been her 4th, and then it was a double tech foul between the 2 of them, and so she's definitely fouled out. So that's it for her for the game. So this is going to be tricky for the Lightning if they've got that. When they start to get into the 4th quarter, they're running out of those substitutions.
Absolutely, Laura. Thank you. Very good eyes. That's why we've got one of the best to do it in South Australian basketball courtside for us tonight. Adelaide 56, Sydney 45, 2:36 remaining here in this third period. Plenty of fans in at the SA State Basketball Centre tonight as well. A couple of the Adelaide 36ers lads enjoying proceedings, which is good to see, before they head off to Hoops Fest over the next couple of days. Big game for them on Sunday against South East Melbourne. Lockridge shoved off by McDowell White. Norris 3-ball opportunity. That won't fall. Fagan with rebound number 6 of the night. 10 points in this term for Adelaide. Sydney with just the 7. In fact, 9 it is now for the Flames. 2 minutes to go here in this third period. And that's another costly turnover for the Flames. 10 apiece in that category now.
Well, that's where you go. Who are the leaders of this team? Who is out there? And this is where, you know, they're fairly young, fairly inexperienced, and that's where a Nicholson or even a Thompson can bring them in and can offer that sort of advice, that settlingness. But right now, they just look like they're all sort of lost at sea.
Inexperienced individually, but also inexperienced as a collective.
Yeah.
This Sydney team, especially these lineups, they have not spent much time playing together.
Yeah, for sure.
A whole new challenge for the Flames.
And a new coach halfway through the season too adds to that. I mean, at least Renee was an assistant, so you know, with them for a while, so she's familiar with them and they're familiar with her, but still it's a change.
Wins in 3 of their last 4 as well. Of course, 2 of her first 3 games came against Townsville, so
She's done a pretty fine job in the role so far, Renee Garlett. We know she came with big raps as one of the best coaches in Australian basketball coming up through the ranks. They go empty on that possession, Sydney. Adelaide still only 10 points on the quarter. Sydney with 9 as Shanice Swain forces the turnover. Still a game high 18, hasn't scored so far in this quarter. That's going to stay with the Flames.
I feel like neither team right now are really sticking to their process of doing the
No.
fundamentals. You know, just keep it simple. You don't have to, you know, thread the needle on every pass. Just keep it simple, basic basketball.
All feels a bit off-piste from both teams at this stage of the game. Norris and Rachel Jarry providing their analysis tonight. McDowell White, corner 3. Got it. That's a big hit to get it back to a single-figure margin. Under a minute to go in the third term. Can the Flames make a run at this thing after trailing by 10 or more for the entirety of this third quarter until now, as Swain's up and in on Fijo and fouling her?
She doesn't send her to the line yet. They've only got 3 fouls.
Second personal on Shanice, who's got 18 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists and 3 steals. Lockridge left unattended, just lost Pittman. And a nice finish.
Great read from Dallas there. Just saw that she was being overplayed and back cut straight to the basket.
Back to a double-figure margin here for Adelaide. McDowell White with another look at it. Pittman pulls it down. Locked up with Lockridge. Jump ball. Possession arrow will decide who ends up with this. Stay with Sydney. 12 on the shot clock. Quick shot, potentially a 2-for-1, but they won't move that quickly, and then we'll lose the ball instead. And that, if you're Renee Garlett, is head in hands type stuff.
It really is. They've doubled their turnovers, or nearly just about, since half time, and you know they had sort of an opportunity to get right back in this game because Adelaide haven't been playing that well in this quarter either, but they've just thrown it away far too easily on some occasions.
Had the margin back to 8. Can Adelaide take advantage going into three-quarter time? Sanaya Fagan called for the offensive foul. She thinks it was a flop. Keely Froling draws her 9th foul of the contest.
I don't know about that one.
I'm going to go with the referees on this one. I thought Keely played some great defense out there. I thought her hands were pretty straight up. Her body was there, and Fagan had to lean into her.
So Fagan comes off the court.
I think that's her 4th personal foul as well, so that's going to be huge in the last quarter.
So now no Rabati, no Fagan for Adelaide down the stretch. And that's not maybe a window of opportunity for Sydney. Pittman couldn't hit, but we'll have free throws here. Of course, we said earlier, only 2 days to go before Hoops Fest kicks off out in Perth. WNBL action at RAC Arena. 2 games at the Perth HBC on Tuesday night, so 6 games all up. NBL action, Sneakerland, so much more. You can get all the info by scanning the QR code on screen. Head to hoopsfest.com.au. What a week it's going to be. A great celebration of basketball and culture in Perth. Pittman's free throw, almost Damon Lowry style, bounces around, doesn't fall. Talbot from half court to beat the buzzer. A little bit strong. And Sydney do get it back to single figures as we turn for home. So they're close enough, if good enough here, the Flames. But the Lightning remain in charge at three-quarter time. 58 to the Flames, 49. Three-quarter time in Adelaide. It is the home team by 9 as we head to the final term. On both games against Sydney by double figures this season have Adelaide. And they are right on the cusp of holding that kind of a margin again here. Joel Peterson, Rachel Jarry and Laurie Chiswick, WNBL championship winners as a player and a coach, alongside me this evening. And Adelaide open things up in this final term with a bucket. So the pressure on the Sydney Flames. And Renee Garlop here in this final term to try and find an answer. Open look for Michaela Can. It's a little bit flat out of the hand and it doesn't go the journey. Laura, what did the Sydney coach Renee Garlop have to say at three-quarter time as a three ball will drop in from Steph Talbot to make her life that much more difficult?
I just love the energy from Renee. It's like she's a player again and she's just got so much hype. You can see her going the sideline. She did get a warning towards the end of that last quarter because you can feel that she really wants to win this game. And she just said to her team, we're playing well, we've got to make the shots, stay focused on defense. And I got to listen to the little bit of the Lightning three-quarter time too, and it was the same. You can see that they want to really win this game.
There's Steph Talbot on the Amy replay. Laura, you played with Renee Garlop. What have you sort of seen from her different in demeanour from a player as a coach as the offensive foul is called on Sydney?
Such a positive player. She just had so much energy. She just loved the game, and sadly she had really bad knee injuries, but we played together in Italy and she actually came halfway through the season, so she knows what it's like to come into a team late. She's doing that coaching wise, but she would not like that penetration right there. She would want them to contain, put your body on the line, but that was just a great drive sending Dallas to the foul line.
Dallas Lockridge will head to the foul line. Great to have Laura Hodges inside courtside tonight. Interesting story, Renee Garlop, of course, the injuries throughout her career. It was put to me by a very wise basketball mind the other day that if 3x3 had have existed when Renee Garlop was going around, that she would have been an absolute weapon on a 3x3 court.
Unguardable, she would have been, yeah.
That slashing style, she's so powerful as an athlete. And now doing some great things as a coach as well. Dallas Lockridge with a couple of free throws. 16-point lead, so a new game high here for Adelaide. And like they did in the second quarter, in the third quarter, they have started the last quarter with a scoring burst. 7-0 run as Shanice Swain will get to the free throw line here for the Sydney Flames.
Well, and I'm glad to see, as we just see Shanice Swain there driving it in, that Steph Talbot nailed that three. She was quiet in that second half. She didn't get any points, so it's good to see her getting her scoring underway as well.
Up to 15 now is Steph Talbot. Swain will get the first to go. Of course, a 40-point game against Townsville last year for Shanice Swain. Hasn't hit those lofty heights this season, but we know what she is capable of when she is able to find her best. Makes both free throws and gets up to 20 on the evening, the lone 20-point scorer in the game thus far. But Lockridge and Talbot are right on her heels. Pass inside there for Talbot. It was smart work from Fijo to try and get in there to stop it going out of play, but she was just a little bit too slow. Just bobbled there for a moment, and Jazz Fijo's best efforts couldn't keep it alive. Can Pittman, Swain, McSpadden and Froling the five to start this final term here for Sydney. 14-point ball game. Keely Froling can't hit. Carla Pittman drags in the offensive rebound and puts it back up and in.
I think Sydney have to take advantage that they've got Fagan and Rabati sitting on the bench. Go inside, go to work.
The offensive rebounds wasn't a problem for Adelaide earlier in the game, but it's fast become one since then. 14-5. They're still marshalling enough here on the offensive end as Whittaker loses that one out of play, but it will stay with the home team. Fagan with 5 boards so far in the game, leading Adelaide. Froling's got 7 to go with her 10 points for Sydney. Hand off from Whittaker. Creates the space for Lockridge. Can't connect on the triple. And that's going to go back with Sydney. Looked like Agnes Eminopu might have had a hand on it last, but Jackie Dover didn't agree on the baseline. minutes into this final term. What can Sydney find, both offensively and defensively? Swain into the mid-range. That won't fall. Talbot almost needed out. This is where they need to really buckle down on this end of the floor, Sydney. They need to put a few stops together. There's a foul there on the floor.
They do, and that's probably not a bad foul. They were well out of position with McSpadden guarding Lockridge out there, so they needed to slow that play down somehow.
We've spoken about it throughout the game, Rach. Adelaide have done a good job in exploiting the mismatches when they've got them. There's been some good recognition from them to try and take advantage when Sydney have switched, and it's created something for the Lightning.
Absolutely, and I just don't think Sydney's switches have been aggressive enough. They need to, if you're going to switch, you need to put a lot of pressure on the ball so that pass inside isn't as easy, and they just haven't quite been able to do that consistently.
Froling on Talbot. Keely Froling draws another foul on the evening. That is 10. 10 fouls drawn by Keely Froling this evening. She's been in the thick of everything.
I think they need to keep going to her
Yeah,
inside
absolutely.
as well. I mean, they don't have a whole lot of scoring options. They're at 53 points right now. They average for the season almost 77 points. So it's been a battle to try and find points, so go to her.
They scored 23 in the first quarter. Since then, they've scored 31.
Yeah,
And
it's been a grind.
Really slowed down, and this is the Sydney that we saw earlier in the season. Often they would find themselves in this possession when it all slowed down. Got the last 6 in the game, though.
So they're in a change up here, a little bit of a matchup zone. You can see them pointing, talking, which is what they need to do.
Talbot out wide. Brazzle's 3-ball, no good. There's a clash of bodies there as Keely Froling hits the deck again. McDowell-White putting it on the floor. 10-point margin. Sydney trying to make a run at this thing late in the piece. Swain relocates to the corner. Can't hit. It's dried up for Shanice Swain after her hot start. At the other end, here's Ash Strawbridge for 3.
I love the fact that Adelaide on that possession, that rebound, looked to push the ball, looked to challenge the defense early because they need a couple of easy baskets. Sydney aren't just going to lay down here.
It's a big one to get it back out to 13 points and make life that much more difficult for the Flames. Swain will tee up a triple from deep. It seems like it's really boom or bust at the moment for the Sydney offense. Lockridge inside. Good ball movement, extra pass. Brazzle straight away, 3-ball, missed it. That would have been a dagger. Agnes Eminopu from outside. That's an important hit.
Well, they just can't seem to get it under this 10-point margin.
7 of 31 from outside tonight, the Flames. 10 of 24 at the other end of the Lightning. Have been far more effective from deep. And Brazzle fumbled that one away. Little hand on it from Swain.
And it's such a mental battle, that sort of 10-point margin as well. It's in your head. Once you get it under that, it's such a different game.
68-58, 5:12 remaining in this one. So first time out of this second half for either coach. Comes with 5:12 remaining in the game. Adelaide up by 10. Sydney are just starting to put something together and try and drag some of this momentum back.
They are. It's not pretty, though, at the moment. But they're working on it. But they just need to not settle for, those 3-point shots. I think they just do that far too often. They look so much better when they're getting the ball inside with either dribble or pass penetration. And Keely Froling needs to be aggressive, I think, every time she gets the ball.
Good thing they don't have to draw pictures in the box score then, Ray.
7 from 30 from the 3-point line right now, 23%. So the other person I'd like to see take it hard to the basket is Eminopu.
Yeah.
She'd know how explosive she is.
Ten-point margin the way of Adelaide, 5:12 remaining in this one. Next 4 games for Adelaide, they've got Southside over at Hoops Fest before they return home for Canberra on Tuesday. They go away to Geelong, then they play Southside again, and then they've got Southside in their last game of the season as well. A lot of Geelong and Perth coming up on the schedule for Sydney in their next little while. Turnover out of the timeout for the Flames.
And Fagan's back on the court.
Tosses it to the corner there. Lockridge got inventive with it. Maybe not how they drew it up, Adelaide, but it'll get a result nonetheless as Fagan will go to the free throw line. So 10-point lead to Adelaide, 4:50 remaining. Laura Hodges is courtside. Laura, what was the message in the Adelaide huddle at that timeout?
Well, that was the first time out for this half, and I was getting tired for the players, but the whole stadium went crazy because they were handing out things left, right and centre, all behind the Lightning bench. So it was chaos, but it was just about, we've got 5 minutes to go, just focus on defense, defensive principles. I did feel someone tap my bottom as well when it was my youngest daughter in the stampede. So I got a little bit distracted, but you can just tell that they want to win this game.
The real question is, Laura, what were they handing out and did you get any?
I certainly didn't get any, and my 5-year-old didn't get anything, and I think she was about to cry. So I think it was makeup or something like that. But I'm definitely in work mode, not mum mode, so my husband can deal with that.
Might have to be a little Hungry Jack's detour on the way home. Get a free cheeseburger via the WNBL app, Laura, and tell them Keely sent you, as we detailed earlier. Here's Lockridge passing that one into the foot of Eminopu, so this will stay with Adelaide. 69-58, 4:13 remaining in the game. Joel Peterson, Laurie Chiswick, Rachel Jarry and Laura Hodges with you on Tuesday night hoops to close out round 13 here in the WNBL. Loss for Adelaide tonight, and they will slip to the bottom of the table while Sydney stay in the hunt for the finals if they can win from here, but it'll be a very difficult challenge, and Adelaide looking a good thing with 4 minutes remaining. Beautiful feed inside from Fagan, and Talbot will step to the free throw line.
You could just see Steph Talbot process the information. She's being guarded by McDowell White, so she's got a mismatch, but not a mismatch on the perimeter. So a quick pass, a cut. The pass went exactly to her hands, and really good processing by Steph Talbot.
And that's what makes Fagan such a great player as well. She's so good at distributing the ball in that situation. We know she averages quite a few assists for someone of her size, so that was a great pass from her. 2.5
a game for Sanaya Fagan this season, so a very proficient passer as a big. There you see our top 5 scorers in the game. Shanice Swain with 20 in the ball game thus far. Dallas Lockridge is right on point as far as her season goes, averaging 16.5. She's got 19 tonight. And it is Adelaide by 11. There's Unique Thompson not suiting up for the Flames this evening, having travelled back from the US in the last couple of days. So she'll be a welcome return as they head across to Hoops Fest.
Well, Joel, it's actually not the last couple of days. She actually arrived in Adelaide a few hours before the game. Her flight was delayed. There was a bit of a question mark earlier whether she might suit up, but Renee said no way will the physios and the medical team let her, but she just arrived a few hours ago.
Not the ideal prep, a long flight like that by any stretch of the imagination. So 11-point deficit here for Sydney. Laura Hodges, how's Renee Garlett planning to claw this back?
So the plan in the next 4 minutes is to run quick. So it's 8-second shot clock, try and get some good momentum on the offensive end. She just is so positive. She's like, shoot with confidence, get good shots, and just try and get the score down to that under that 10-point margin.
She's instilled that confidence in her players in recent times. Talbot with 17 in the game after canning both at the line.
One of the things Renee said that when she took over, one of the mantras that she sort of got to talk to her players about as we see Shanice Swain shoot the ball was courage, play with courage. You know, you're going to make mistakes, but play with courage.
Aja Paramama's talked about that, the sort of next play mentality as well. You can make a mistake and just move on and make the next one count. So both coaches singing from the same hymn sheet. Can Sydney turn it around late here? Oh, well, Sanaya Fagan bury a dagger from outside.
That is a big-time shot from Fagan there.
14 for Fagan. Swain with a straightaway triple to come back the other way. Froling it was, who gets up to 15. So Keely Froling with a productive night. Fagan saw some help. Fijo had it roll off the rim.
You can see Renee Garlop in the background. Go, go, push the ball.
Swain now for 3. That won't fall. Can they get an offensive board here? Keely Froling did her level best, but couldn't keep it alive. So 13 points, the Adelaide lead. Only 2 double-digit wins among their 4 this season for Adelaide. By 17 and by 19, both over this Sydney team. So staring down the barrel of a 3rd double-figure defeat at the hands of Adelaide this season is Sydney. 2.5 left. McDowell White for 3. That won't fall. Now they can use the clock as their friend down the stretch here, Adelaide. All the urgency is with the Flames. Been a lean season in the win column. Just the 4 so far. They've lost their past 6. And they are closing in on one that will feel very, very good if indeed they can get it tonight for the Adelaide Lightning.
Well, now every foul is, they send to the foul line. So, you know, it's that fine line of wanting to stop the clock.
Yeah.
You know, and sending them to the line every single time.
And as we spoke about earlier, a very proficient free throw shooting team
Yeah.
as well. 85% tonight, 17 of 20. And I breathe a sigh of relief. Steph Talbot makes the first one there.
Just such a contrast to their game against Perth, where they were 100%, but they only shot 3 for 3.
And their opponents shot 33.
Exactly.
So they've had troubles keeping their opponents off the line. Oh, as Keely Froling sets the terror screen up at midcourt, and Jazz Fijo felt every single bit of that. As round 14 gets started with Perth and Bendigo, as you saw on your screen on Thursday. What a matchup that is out at Hoops Fest. As Emma Nopu takes it away and lays it home.
She's been so good tonight. I feel like she could have, you know, even had more scoring opportunities just with how great she's been, particularly on that dribble penetration and her defense creating offense.
16 points for Agnes Eminopu. 4 rebounds as well. Pokes that one away from Fagan. Can't keep a hold of it. Sanaya on the turnaround, can't hit. 1.5 to go, 13-point game. Surely they couldn't from here, Sydney. But stranger things have happened. Froling puts it on the floor, gets inside, foul on the play. Here's that screen from Keely Froling, and Jazz Fijo did not see that coming. Sydney will call a timeout. 13 points, their deficit. 1:18 left, and they'll keep the ball out of the timeout. So Renee Garlop gets a chance to draw something up. Agnes Eminopu, the 18 points, a new WNBL career high for her, which is very good to see indeed. Keely Froling with 15 tonight for the Flames. Shanice Swain has 20, but that balanced attack of Adelaide shooting 44% from both 2-point range and 3-point range. And that would give you an overall percentage of 44%, one would imagine. I'm no mathematician, but that seems to be how it would work. 18 turnovers tonight for the Lightning, but they've been able to limit the damage there and have 18 assists as well. And they look like with 1:18 to play, they're going to get their first win in their past 7 games.
Yeah, it's looking that way. So, you know, they'll be so pleased tonight. But can I just say, the Adelaide coaching staff looking absolutely sharp tonight, all matching. I'm sure they talked about that during the week. So just a shout out to those ladies, looking great.
Yeah, a bit of coordination among the Adelaide crew, which we love to see.
When we just look at Adelaide's scorers, you've got Lockridge 19, Talbot 19, Fagan 14. Well, can I tell you that all those 3 were in my teams of the year, the Steph Talbot in the over 30,
Very good.
and the other 2 in the under 30, so they're just proving that team has its worth.
Yeah, you've just got to plug your own work sometimes, Laurie, and I like what you've done there. Making sure everyone remembers as Froling hits that one to go. So back to 11. Can Sydney get this down to single figures to close? Or will Adelaide keep their run of double-digit wins against the Flames rolling with a minute to play in this one? Brazzle's on the attack. Can't finish underneath. Kayla Cann lobbed it inside and Talbot takes it away. This Adelaide Lightning team were challenged by Sydney in that third term. The game really slowed down after it got to a fast start at 23 apiece. It was the start of the second term where they scored 15 of 17 points, Adelaide, to take control of the game. Lockridge driving inside. She and Agnes Eminopu get tangled up. Sydney came back at them in that third quarter, but got it to 8 points. Couldn't get any closer than that. And the Adelaide Lightning have maintained control throughout the rest of the contest. Four-second difference shot to game clock. Eminopu's had a good night. So too has Keely Froling. Would love one for the road, but Talbot got a piece of it. And this Adelaide crowd can start to celebrate. The first win in the last 7 for the Lightning. It's been slim pickings for them, but they'll lead at the winners' table tonight. 76-65. The Lightning snap a 6-game losing streak and bring an end to Sydney's 2-game winning run. They will go into Hoops Fest with a nice dose of momentum, will this Adelaide team, as they get their 5th win of the season.
Really good win in front of their home crowd. You know, there's not too many home games left in this schedule, and so any time where wins have been few and far between during this season, it's just a great result because they've had some really good fan support in Adelaide.
And they've had a tough stretch. Their last 6 against Bendigo, Perth, Southside, Perth, Townsville and Perth. A tough run. They come out of the other side of it a winner race. That'll feel very good.
It doesn't get much tougher than that. So absolutely a feeling of relief I'm sure they'd be having. But, you know, we know that they're still talking about finals. They think they can get on a run and they've got winnable games coming up against that sort of bottom half of the ladder. So they're going to be looking to get some momentum out of today and go on a bit of a winning streak.
Yeah, absolutely. Southside Canberra, Geelong, Southside, the run home for Adelaide. 4 games to come for the Flames, only single headers, and it's all against Geelong and Perth. 11-point win to Adelaide. Steph Talbot was magnificent again for them, and she's alongside Laura Hodges.
Well, Steph, you really wanted that win. It's been 6 losses, but tonight you came out. It was a team game, but yourself, 19 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. I think you had a fair few steals in there. How do you feel now?
Yeah, it's good. I think it's nice to be back in the winning column. It's never nice to have 6 losses in a row. We still have a few things to work on execution-wise, but I'm proud of the girls.
And Shanice Swain, she had 18 points in the first half. I think she only finished up with 20. Was that a big focus for you guys in the second?
Yeah, it was a big focus in the second half. She was really the only one keeping a minute in the first half, so it was a big focus to lock her down for sure.
And this crowd, it gets louder and louder each week. I know you've lost 6 in a row, but you've certainly won the hearts of so many people in South Australia, and people are coming up to me going, I love the basketball, we want to keep going back to the Lightning. You must be pretty proud of that.
Yeah, I love playing here. I love our fans here and the atmosphere that we've built here, and it's a testament to the girls, but a testament to the South Australian fans, and I love that they're coming out and supporting us.
And a big week ahead, back to Perth. How are you feeling about going back there? It's probably like home to you girls in the last few weeks, but this should give you the confidence for the next game.
Yeah, 3rd weekend in a row in Perth. It does feel a little bit like home. But yeah, playing Southside, every game from now on is a must-win game for them. We had a tough game against them after Christmas, so we're looking to get them back for sure.
Well, good luck and safe travels.
Thank you.
Steph Talbot and Laura Hodges, a couple of, one current, one former Adelaide Lightning star, and it was a complete performance from Steph Talbot tonight, Rach. She was magnificent.
Yeah, she was, and it's, you know, the Steph that we love to see. She was aggressive, she made great decisions, she was great on the defensive end, and she just led her team. She just gives her team such a boost when she's playing that way, and they all seem to go with her when she's doing that. And, you know, we hear the Adelaide players talk about how great of a leader she is, and we saw that on display today.
Yeah, led by example tonight. Steph Talbot, our player of the game, 19-7-5, 3 blocks, 3 threes as well, which was important. And, you know, only the 9 shots for 19 points, so very, very efficient, Laurie.
Really efficient out there, and she just, her shot selection was second to none. She didn't, you know, she didn't take any shots that weren't the right shots to take. She helped her team defensively. She got some great blocks there right at the end especially, and so she played a really well-rounded game.
We spoke about the challenge for them inside tonight, Adelaide, to try and overtake that Sydney rebounding battle, and Sanaya Fagan was always going to be a key part of that. She's with Laura.
Sanaya, that was a physical game, but you could tell you guys wanted it so bad, and the crowd got into it. How did you feel during the game?
I felt amazing. I mean, the crowd is our extra player, so it feels good to have them here, and also like for everybody to come ready to play.
And foul trouble has been a big thing for you, because when you're on the floor, you guys look great. I know it was tricky out there. What do the coaches say to you in those situations?
Well, honestly, like, when I do foul, she tells me to stop being a 22-year-old. So, honestly, just staying disciplined, understanding that when I'm on the court, I need to be disciplined on defense. So, yeah.
And you've seen a bit of the countryside now. You've been to Perth a few times. Back there this weekend, are you eager to get there for Hoops Fest and have the environment and have a big game?
Yeah, honestly, we're all excited. We're excited to go out there and, to play as a team, and, yeah.
Well, great win. Well done today, and good luck in your travels.
Thank you so much.
Laura, thanks to Sanaya. We can't have her stop being a 22-year-old, Laurie, or she'll fall out of eligibility for your special team.
Exactly. What is she thinking?
That's not going to work. But again, another great performance tonight. And again, another player who showed the versatility of the skill set, the rim protection, the passing, the ability to step outside and shoot it as well as finish inside.
She, again, I think it's her foul discipline is what's almost held her back this season from just being from a great player to, an absolute outstanding superstar, and because she does have to sit a little bit. Because when she is going, she is so hard to stop. She can put it to the floor. She can shoot the 3. We know her toughness and strength inside and the way she presents and is able to finish around the rim. So really great to see that she did have her 4 fouls tonight, but she was able to finish it off.
Yeah, it's a deep bag that Sanaya Fagan possesses, and she emptied most of it on the floor at the SA State Basketball Centre tonight. Adelaide get the win, a much-needed one for them by 11 points. We'll wrap it all up on the other side.
Fifth win of the season for the Adelaide Lightning. They get it done by 11 points in the end. They led by 10 at half-time, by 9 at three-quarter time, maintained that double-figure margin with 11 at the final change. So they win all three of their games against Sydney this season by 17, by 19 and 11. As we take a look at our second half highlights, most of them were on the offensive end for Adelaide. It really slowed down. It was an absolute grind in that third quarter this game, Laurie. Both teams opened up a little bit with the game on the line in that last term, but particularly in the third term, it was a very much a defensive game.
Well, it was, and I thought Adelaide did particularly well with Fagan getting into foul trouble. Rabati was already on the bench, and so they had to find other ways to score, and they had to defend inside, and I thought they did a relatively good job with that.
Yeah, a little bit of a spread tonight. The likes of Ash Strawbridge coming in, hitting a couple of threes, and spoke about the rebounding count, and Adelaide end up winning it, Rach.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's got to be, you know, their DNA for the rest of the season, to be able to win the rebounds every game.
Going to have to be a big part of what they do. So here's our Bunnings Warehouse ladder after all of that. Adelaide get up to 6th. They replace Sydney in 7th. And then we see Perth and Bendigo to kick off Hoops Fest on Thursday, which is going to be all kinds of fun. Perth and Townsville also meet out west as part of Hoops Fest. That's where we're headed next when round 14 starts on Thursday. We look forward to your company then. We've wrapped up round 13 tonight. Adelaide with their 5th win of the season. They get it done 76-65.